What's up? What's up? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notification so that you're able to get all of my content and all of my videos. Now, before I get this video started, though, um, let me give a shout out to the people that's already in the chat. True Viking Queen, I see you in the building. Tiffany, I see you in the building. You said I wish I could be on the panel for this topic, but I'm gonna be busy. No, it's okay. I tell you what, we'll talk some football a little bit later. Um, and if you're around and everything, then I definitely dropped the link too as well. Okay, so we'll 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 drop some football for you later or whatnot. I've been kind of busy with basketball and everything, but we're gonna talk some more football because it's a lot of crazy things that's supposed to be uh, taking place. Probably some scenarios that I could foresee happening or whatnot, but nevertheless, we'll get into it. And then Alex, man, I see you in the building, man. Salute to you, bro. You said he would probably be a good fit for your Lions. You know, that's an interesting thing. I didn't think about the Lions, but look, Jared Goff, he hasn't really been the same. He hasn't really been the same, and that's going to be an issue there if he was to go to the Lions. Um, I don't think he would be that great of a fit for the Lions. That's just my personal opinion. Now, they are saying that Amari Cooper is going to be up for grabs because the report has came out that he's likely to part ways with the Cowboys organization. We know that this has been surfacing for quite some time. Jerry Jones had came out uh, on the radio and pretty much had voiced uh, his feelings the way that he felt about Amari Cooper following the game against the 49ers and everything, which I felt like it was very unfair to a player like Amari Cooper. Now, here's the thing, man, and this is what's going to be interesting that could possibly happen. Now, some people are saying, they're looking at the Patriots. They're saying that he would be a good fit for the Patriots, being that, you have a young guy like a Mac Jones who could potentially do some things. And I'm not gonna lie, I was impressed by Mac Jones and what he did. He really surprised me because most Alabama quarterbacks are pretty much system quarterbacks or whatnot, and he was able to adapt to what Belichick was running over there with the Patriots. Now, do I feel like he would be a good fit for the Patriots? To some degree, yes. If you're looking for to play primarily in the system, because Belichick, uh, he brings a field that's kind of balanced in terms of in terms of his attack, and that's one thing I don't take away from Bill Belichick. You never know what angle he's going to come from, and he's not predictable at all. He's very unpredictable. This year, he didn't get a chance to show it too much. The Patriots have went through a lot. Shout out to the homie, True the King. He had put everybody on notice about what they had went through and the adversities that they went through and the trials and tribulations that they went through. But in my opinion, in my personal opinion, I feel like Amari Cooper should be a good fit. He would be a good fit for the Ravens. Okay. Uh, a lot of people don't think so, but in my opinion, that would make the Ravens an automatic. And look, you could say what you want, but I picked the Ravens to come out of the AFC. And one of the things that Tiffany had brought up, and she had continuously said that they need receiving. Now, here's the interesting thing, in my opinion, that I think should take place. You have a guy in AB who, from what I've been hearing, he was, with the USFL, and he's looking to make his way back to the NFL. And I'm pretty sure, despite what AB had did and what he went through and the controversy and everything like that. Listen, I never said that AB wasn't an all-world talent and a first ballot Hall of Famer type. And also, he will be a Hall of Famer regardless of what he went through. You get a guy like AB, you get a guy like Antonio Brown, you already have Marquise Brown there to keep him in line, like Tiffany has said. That was one of her points. I'm giving her credit for thinking of this. Then on top of that, you bring a guy like Amari Cooper there. That makes them dangerous because they already have a decent running game, and then you mix that in with Amari Cooper, who Amari Cooper has always been productive. Look, Jerry Jones Jerry Jones just doesn't know how to sit down, and he doesn't know when to be quiet. I'm just being honest with you. He doesn't know when to be quiet. I felt like it was very unfair for him to put all of that on a guy like Amari Cooper, because for the simple fact Amari Cooper had came back. He had been sidelined with an injury, and also he was struggling with the COVID as well. Okay, there was a lot of things beneath the surface that I think people fail to realize, and then you put that in the combination with the fact that CD Lamb had a better season numbers wise. Maybe from a touchdown perspective, no. But numbers wise, CD Lamb, if you look at the numbers, he did better than Amari Cooper. But you have to take into into account that Amari Cooper, he had struggled earlier in the season with with his health, and then also, of course, with the COVID. I think people forget that we still have this thing going out there amongst other things going on in the world. Now, if you get a guy like Amari Cooper, this is going to make your receiving very dangerous. And also now, where you used to kind of be, where the Ravens used to be kind of predictable, it's going to make them very unpredictable because, like I said, they could get you at all angles. That's just what I was explaining about Bill Belichick, and that also depends on what Harbaugh does. Look, one of the reasons why I did pick the Ravens to come out of the AFC is because Lamar Jackson steadily made improvement. He consistently made improvement with his game up until that injury. And one could argue, he was at the top in terms of MVP because he was playing at an MVP level, at the beginning of the season, along with a couple of other names to throw in there. You give a guy like Amari Cooper to Lamar Jackson, these guys they're gonna be a terror depending on health, and that could possibly make those guys Super Bowl, a Super Bowl appearance. I'm just being honest with you. Listen. I told everybody, if you go back and you go look at the streams, I said the teams that I thought were most dangerous. I had picked Cincinnati because of the the type of presence that Jamar Chase had brought to the NFL. Jamar Chase was somebody that took the lead by storm, and also you have to take into consideration he did something that nobody else had did as a rookie, which would be able to get 645 or more yards in a single season. He set a single season record. So you had to look at that, and that was one of the things that I looked at. And Burrow, I said Burrow was not to be slept on. Okay, and then of course I threw in the Bills, but my whole pick was the Baltimore Ravens. What's up, Mike? Too. I see you. I see you in the building. My fault, Mike. I didn't see your comment. Look, Mike, you said you'll take them on your team. Look, Mike, uh, that's gonna make your team so dangerous. I don't think people understand the impact that Amari Cooper had when he came over from the Raiders to the Cowboys. Man, people. the amount of hate that this man was receiving up until he stepped on the field, because some people felt like he didn't have a good outpour with the Raiders, but that's not necessarily true. They weren't using Amari Cooper right. You understand what I mean? They were not using him right, and he was, he felt some type of way when he was there, which he should, especially coming from Alabama, and people were projecting him to be a Hall of Fame talent. It's just that simple. The reason why you can't get on Amari Cooper for what he was doing with the Ravens is because he gave, in the 2 seasons that he was with the Ravens. I'm sorry about that, with the Raiders. In the I guess you could say the 3.5 seasons that he was with the Ravens, or the Raiders, he had always had 1,000 yards, with the exception, I would say, with the exception of that half a season that he had played, because he had came in the middle of the season. His first season in 2015, he had 1,070 yards, and he had 6 touchdowns. Then his very next season, he had 1,100, well, 1,153, 1,153 yards, and he had 5 touchdowns. Very productive. Just wasn't using him right. Then that very next season, in 2017, he was a little off. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. Had a call. Um, he was a little off, and he had 680, and he had 7 touchdowns. And then when he went in the middle, and I made a mistake. It was actually 2018. Sorry about that. When he came in the middle of the season, he had already had 280 yards with the Raiders, and then he had a touchdown. And then when he went to the Cowboys, he ended up getting 1,000 yards in that single season. And he also had 6 touchdowns. So if you combine both of them, 725 plus the 280, and then plus the six and the one, guess what? He was good for 1,000 yards, and also had 7 touchdowns. This guy's had really technically had only had one season, and it was, due to injuries or whatnot. He had only had one season in which he failed to get over 1,000 yards. When he came in, he had immediate impact. It just goes again to them not using him right. So for people to sit here and say that Amari Cooper, wasn't wouldn't be productive, or he wouldn't be a weapon, everybody would grab him. Listen, everybody would say, look, they'll take him on the Lions, or they'll take him on the Ravens, or they'll take him on the Patriots. Look at Amari Cooper. He would be on the he would be a hot grab for any team. So it's going to be interesting to see what really takes place, man. And me personally, would I want him to leave the Cowboys? No, I wouldn't want him to leave. But at the same token, if you're gonna be unappreciative of what this guy, had to bring to the table, then, I mean, why not go ahead and leave? If I'm gonna be, respected, somewhere else. Look, I think what people are really focused on is the fact that he only had 865 yards, um, in that season, which was the only other season, like I said, besides the 680 that he had in 2017, right? I think they're really focused on that, because the previous season he had you know, 1114, 1,114, and he had 5 touchdowns. See, the thing about it is, in terms of touchdowns, he had 8 touchdowns to go along with that. So he was still productive in quite some, in a lot of ways or whatever. It's just that CeeDee Lamb, he had played a little bit longer. Guys like CeeDee Lamb and Gallup, um, they had played, a little bit longer in that stretch. And you also got to think about, the receiving core that the Cowboys had. You think about Gallup, you think about CeeDee Lamb. You also think about Wilson as well. And those guys were extremely productive. But by far, in terms of numbers, if we're looking at numbers and we're going by the stats, then you got to go with the guy, like CD Lamb in terms of his production. He, CD Lamb, he had more yards because he had 1,102 yards. But in terms of touchdowns, Amari Cooper had the edge, and that's why they had debated and they got into it. Not in a bad way, but more in a competitive like way, in a leadership type way. They were saying, okay, yeah, I should take the touchdown. You know, and that was the whole thing. There wasn't any beef between those guys. Despite what some people want to try to bring to the table, or what type of narrative that they try to they try to drive home in the minds of the people. That's just competitiveness, and they wanted to win. But in this case, we gotta they gotta figure out what they're gonna do. You know, and I feel like Amari Cooper instantly makes any team better. But I would like Amari Cooper to go to a contender, and like I said, the Ravens are a contender regardless. Everybody knows I picked the Ravens. And once Lamar Jackson got hurt, I kind of knew, their season was done. I definitely knew that their season was done, you know. Uh, and it was a shame because Lamar Jackson was having a tremendous year. Matter of fact, you know, they they were talking about him. Hold on one second. I apologize about the wait, but like I said, man, Amari Cooper being with the team like the Ravens, that's instantly gonna make your team better. So um, y'all let me know what you think, man. Leave your comments, like this video, and share it. Subscribe and hit the notifications. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment. I'll get at you later.